Hi everyone, welcome back to English Fab, where learning English is practical, useful, and fab. Today, we're discussing an important and often complex topic: political and global troubles. From economic crises and unemployment to war, corruption, and misinformation, these issues shape the world we live in. Talking about them in English can be challenging, especially when dealing with serious topics like human rights, protests, and government policies. In this lesson, we'll go through a real-life conversation to see how people discuss global and political issues. Then, we'll break it down with key phrases, useful vocabulary, and practical tips to help you express your thoughts clearly and navigate global discussions with confidence. If you find English difficult, don't worry. You can translate the subtitles into English and your own language like this. Check the description below for extra details. Are you ready? Let's get started.
It feels like the world is falling apart. Every time I turn on the news, there's another crisis.
I know what you mean. Lately, it's been non-stop: wars, protests, economic struggles, and political instability. It's overwhelming.
The economy is a mess. Inflation is through the roof, and so many people have lost their jobs. Unemployment is at an all-time high.
Yet, and with the economic crisis, businesses are shutting down, people can't afford basic necessities, and the government keeps making promises but doesn't deliver.
That's another thing: government failure. Instead of fixing problems, politicians are just arguing while nothing improves.
And let's not even start on corruption. So many leaders are more focused on their own wealth and power than actually helping people.
Exactly. And because of that, so many people are suffering. Just look at the refugee crisis. Thousands of families are fleeing their countries because of war or persecution, and they have nowhere to go.
And in some places, instead of welcoming them, governments are closing borders. It's heartbreaking. People just want a safe place to live.
Speaking of war, did you see what's happening overseas? Entire cities are being destroyed, and innocent people are caught in the middle.
Yeah, human rights violations are happening everywhere. Civilians are suffering, and international organizations are struggling to provide aid.
And what makes it worse is all the misinformation online. I don't even know what to believe anymore. There's fake news spreading so fast that it's hard to tell what's real.
That's a huge problem. Some people believe everything they see on social media without checking the facts. It just fuels division and makes it harder to fix real issues.
And that's why people are taking to the streets. Have you seen the protests happening lately? People are demanding change, but in some places, the government is cracking down hard.
Yet in some countries, protesting is dangerous. People are arrested just for speaking out. That's a serious violation of freedom of speech.
I wish there were easy solutions, but these issues are so complex. War, corruption, and economic struggles aren't things that can be fixed overnight.
True, but I still believe that people can make a difference. We have to stay informed, support organizations that help those in need, and vote for leaders who actually care about making change.
You're right. Even though things look bad, giving up isn't an option. We just have to keep pushing for a better future.
Exactly. Change takes time, but history has shown that when people come together, they can make a real impact. And that's a wrap for today's lesson on political and global troubles. We explored how to talk about important global issues such as war, economic crises, government failure, and misinformation. Understanding these topics in English helps you engage in meaningful discussions and stay informed about world events. Let's quickly review what we covered today. What we talked about: a real-life conversation where two friends discuss major global challenges, including corruption, refugee crises, and protests. Key phrases for expressing opinions, discussing political instability, and talking about economic issues. Useful vocabulary to help you confidently engage in discussions about world events and international affairs. Key phrases: the economy is a mess. Government failure is making things worse. The refugee crisis is getting worse. Families have nowhere to go. Misinformation is spreading fast, and it's hard to know what's real. Protests are happening because people want real change. We have to stay informed and support those in need. Change takes time, but people coming together can make a real impact. Talking about political and global issues in English can be challenging, but it's an essential skill for understanding and discussing world events. Whether you're reading the news, debating with friends, or writing about these topics, these phrases will help you express yourself clearly. Try using these phrases when discussing current events or sharing your thoughts on global issues. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become in engaging with these important topics. Okay, thanks for watching today's lesson on English Fab. I hope you found these English tips useful and feel more confident. Remember, practice makes perfect, so try using these phrases in your daily conversations. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more Fab English lessons. Until next time, keep practicing and stay Fab.